Dana here, and welcome to my vlog, Project Stang. Today I'm going to deal with the rear brake calipers on my 97 Ford Mustang. When you're using your regular brakes, that's by fluid. And your emergency brakes through your emergency brake handle is manual. And I've found that these years between 94 and 97, or probably 99, because they all use the same brake calipers, are notorious for hanging up. They will not release. And they may release to a certain point, but they're still grabbing. So what's going to happen is you're going down the road, that heat off that off your brake rotor is transmitting heat through your brake pads, and it's heating that disc up. And I've seen it beat red. So what's happening is you don't know it, and it's becoming beat red, and it's transferring that heat to your rims. It's transferring the heat to your axle shaft, and which means it's transmitting heat to your axle seals, and it's also heating up your gear oil too. So none of those are good cases. Now the other day I noticed it was hanging up, and I was getting ready to go. But this is the first time I've gotten my 97 on the road in 4 years, because I swapped out the motor from a 94 that I originally took the motor out of the 97 to put in. You can catch those videos of me swapping that motor out all the way to the point of getting to this point right now. I noticed that it hung up when I was going to work. Thank God I only worked 3 miles from the house, and you can tell because when you pull in and you coast, it slows down faster than it normally does, because after you drive a car after a while, a standard especially, you know when it's being held up. So I got out and I checked it, and it was hot. It wasn't beat red, but it was definitely transferring heat to the rim. So you can get under there and manually release it, and I'll show you the handle to do that. So that's what I'm working on right now. All right, now you can that off from right now. Got it covered. All right. Taking the ramps out. As you can see, I've got jacks under it as well as that jack. Now you can see it's actually hanging up. Put this one here, and that does. You can tell the difference. This is a posi rear end, because see the other wheel, posi rear end means both wheels are going to go back and forth together. So it's not a posi rear end. They're not together. So anyway, as you can see, this one's not hung up. This one is hung up. As you go down the road, that's heating that up. And I used to have nice bright red calipers and everything else, and unfortunately once you start heating stuff up, it gets really hot, beat red, and of course the paint melts, or paint gets burnt. So anyway, now what I'm going to do is I'll pull the emergency brake, and now you'll see that didn't even lock up.
this one did. So this one's working like it should. The other one's dragging. You really need both brakes to be doing their job. I'll release the emergency brake. And if it released like it's supposed to, it's going to spin. There you go. So that one's functioning. The other one isn't functioning at all, but it's getting hot. So let's take that one off. And we're gonna, okay, now that the brake is released, I'm gonna show you how to release that brake. You can see I got in here, so I'm in good shape. And you need a screwdriver or a pry bar. And as you remember, it's hanging, right? Again, like I said, these are notorious for that. Don't get under a vehicle unless it's really good and secured. If that comes down, at least it's going to come down on those things. Now, what we're looking at is here's the, okay, this is a spring here that's supposed to release your emergency brake. And as you look under here, see how the cable comes in, and this is the arm right here. This is the complete arm. This is the complete with the spring, and the spring's supposed to release it. So what you have to do to release it is take something like pry bar and get in here and pull that back. Okay, you saw it jump. That spring is supposed to be tight enough to release that. And that's as far back as it'll go. Now, watch. See how much more of a rotation you have now. And of course, the pads are grabbing anyway, but at least you got almost a whole full rotation now on the tire. And okay, and now you can see it almost spins as good as this one. And of course, you got the arm. There's your arm on this one, and that spring's pretty strong. I can go back out a little bit more with that, but you can put that down so I'm not moving. You can see how much of a spin we have with that. The same on this side. See how much of a spin you have now? All right. Now, there's really no way to lube that up. You really have to basically replace it. And believe me, that bites. Because then once you remove it, you gotta change it out and then lube it up. Well, you gotta change it and then bleed it. Thought about that. Really, actually, replace the spring.
with a stronger spring, maybe. Kind of looks like the spring. Comparing the springs, so that one looks like it's kind of sprung in a little bit as I'm looking at the other side. It all has to do with that spring. That's what's releasing it. It looks like maybe I can find a better spring, stronger spring. Get that to release. It's too difficult to place that spring. It's just a little nut. It's not a little bolt holding it there, and then it just fits into a hole. Just fits in a little hole here, and then a bolt there. But maybe we're gonna try another spring off of the green one, and see if that doesn't solve my problem. Spray some. It's basically up inside, so there's really no external, there's nothing external I can lube. Just really nothing there. Because once it pulls up, it locks up. Didn't do anything. All the way up. It's got a little bit of a grip on it, but not much. And that's still hanging, and that just hangs up. Ultimately, even if it doesn't grab, there's a cable adjustment issue, but it just hangs up enough to keep pressure on the doggone. Step back a little further. Okay, now as you saw, I popped that all the way back. There's basically no restriction on it, other than that. So anyway.